What's good with it, Reddit Nation? Welcome to Reddit Tape. Today we got a live. We're gonna be talking about Josh McDaniels and the other couple things, man. But make sure, just to make sure y'all can hear me, y'all can see me clearly. Let me know if y'all can hear me. My boy Dave Maxwell, mute button, Ray. Don't forget, bud. I feel you, bro. Let me know that y'all can see me and hear me clearly. Cause last time the mic was on mute, but let me know if y'all could. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's good. He said, "Hey, we ready to go, y'all. We ready to go. We're gonna talk about Josh McDaniels today. As y'all can see by the title, I'm trying to be optimistic, y'all. I'm trying to be optimistic. Look, I don't like Josh McDaniels. I don't. Let me be honest. I gotta say that. That's a disclaimer right there. Let me put that disclaimer out there. I'm not a fan of Josh McDaniels. Okay, but to be optimistic and to take a step back and to look at it, it might not be all bad. It might be not all as bad as everybody thinks. But let me go ahead and give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Listen, man, bro. He said Ray, you low key look like DJ Turner. Man, y'all funny. Jody said, hopefully Ray catfishing us with his title. Look, that's why I had to put the disclaimer out, man. I had to put the disclaimer out. I'm not a fan of Josh McDaniels, everybody. I'm not a fan of Josh McDaniels. Dude look like he's going to embezzle us for some money, bro. He look like he's going to embezzle us and he's going to do something crazy. That's it. That's my first opinion, my first impression. The first time I heard we were going to go out and talk to Josh McDaniels, I was like, nah, bro. No. I did not. I don't want to get him. But I just want to come up here and talk to y'all and say maybe we could take a step back and look at a different perspective. Maybe we could take a step back and maybe there's something good there. But let's get to the chat, man. I'm trying to be optimistic. And I want y'all to hear me out, though, when we go out throughout this vibe, because I just think that we could look at a different angle. D-Max said, let's hope he doesn't become Lane Kiffin part 2. He's a great OC. Let's hope it translates to a head coach this time around. Yeah, and I think this is going to go towards this live is going to go exactly towards that. Okay, so stay tuned. We're gonna get into it. Digital Press, shout out Digital Press, man. He's been linking up with me lately. Sent me a dope edit photo I shared earlier on YouTube. Y'all seen it. Shout out to Digital Press. He says, Morning Nation, let's talk about it. Shout out to my big cuz Ray. I really appreciate you. So shout out Press, man, being supporting, linking up. Appreciate you, man. But let's get to it though, man, because JB says 100% agree with you, Ray. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it a little bit before we start agreeing with each other. Because look, like I said, I don't really like Josh McDaniels. I need to make sure everybody understands that I'm not a fan of Josh McDaniels. I don't trust Josh McDaniels. He doesn't really look like somebody that's going to come in and be solid, keep it at 100 with you. He kind of seemed like a slime ball to me, so I'm not really a big fan of that. That's for sure. But let's get to the chat, man. Shout out Mike Morris for telling me I'm good. Marquez in the building. Salute the service to you, bro. I know you're holding it down for us. Queen Raider Ray in the building. Shout out to the Queen. Always putting on. Shout out to you, your son. I know he's doing this thing on YouTube too. So shout out to him for putting on. BL says, dun, 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 the Raiders. He said, if we sign McDaniels, I'm going to be sick. And this is what I said as well. I was going to be sick because I'm not a fan of Josh McDaniels. I'm not a fan, but we're going to get into it, man. Appreciate that, Queen. I've had this hat for a minute, though. It just ain't popped out yet. It just ain't popped out in a minute. Back up to T1 says his numbers with the Pats solve some of our offensive problems, so you hope for the best if we sign him. Exactly, T1. I agree with you there. James Stewart in the building. What's happening, folks? Los Angeles in the house. You already know LA going to be in the house, bro. You know LA is going to be in the house. They part of the Raider Nation, man. What's up, Battle? Greetings from San Diego 619. What's up with it, Battle? How you doing, man? Shout out to San Diego. Let me know where y'all from. Let me know where y'all tapping in from. What's good with you, EJ? EJ, man, you want to pull up today? Let me know if you want to pull up, EJ. I know you said you wanted to. He's a snake, bro. I kind of feel the same way, Nature Boy. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel the same way about Josh McDaniels. You go back, look at the history, and people will say, he didn't do well with the Broncos. Let's just start there. Let's start with the Broncos, right? Let's start with the Broncos. What's good with you, Raider? 187. Tassi in the building. He said, I'm just gonna be a good guy and say I believe in second chances. You feel me? And speaking of second chances, this will just be his second chance. Previous, he was with the Broncos, and with the Broncos, it's kind of hard to gauge how well he really would have done, but we know he didn't do well. And then the thing with the Colts, how he bailed on them, that doesn't look good either. So I know a lot of people really don't want to pick up Josh McDaniels. I even put a poll in the community section, and people voted for Rich Bisaccia over every other candidate I put out there. So that was pretty interesting to hear that Raider Nation really likes Rich Bisaccia. And for those who don't know, Rich Bisaccia actually is being looked at to become the special teams coordinator for the Chicago Bears. So he already has a backup plan, and it's looking like it's going to end up be happening. So, Rich Bisaccia may be out of Las Vegas. And then not only that, the defensive coordinators, not the coordinators, but the defensive side of the ball, our coaching staff is getting decimated because Ron Miles is being looked at by the Chiefs for a defensive coordinator spot. Our linebacker coach is being looked at elsewhere. So right there is two guys, defensive back coach, linebacker coach. Ron Marinelli is also being looked at by the Chicago Bears to be their defensive line coach as well. So we'd have a whole new coaching staff as far as the defensive side of the ball. So that right there is pretty interesting, man. Oscar says not a fan either. D-Mag says, is Josh the next Kiffin? I'm hoping not. I don't think he will be, man. And I just don't think he will be, bro. Dizzy Press says McDaniels is McPoison. Yeah. What it do, Ray? What's good with you, Jesse? How you doing, man? I just feel like McDaniels has no fire. I hear you. 805 says, Ray, it's all about a proven track record. McDaniels doesn't have one. I definitely understand that, bro. Definitely understand that. OG Fade in the house, 619. What's good with you, man? How you doing? James in the building. Shout out from Houston. Bro, looks like he's going to try and work us like Trent Brown. Exactly, bro. Why Snake? Well, because of his track record. You look at his record, supposedly he was cheating when he was with the Broncos by filming other teams' practices. So that was one knock he had. And then also with the Colts situation, he was going to take the head coaching job with the Colts, but within like a 24-hour span of taking the job, he ended up not showing up and bailing out on them. So they didn't have a head coach at that point after he took the job. So that's kind of a snake move right there, man, for sure. Tassi 562, Long Beach. Yep, shout out to the LBC, man. Would McDaniels keep DC? Couch Lord asked. And personally, and from what I'm hearing, Josh McDaniels would keep Derek Carr. Like, it's almost like without a doubt, that's what the narrative is right now. And what I've been hearing is that he'd keep Derek Carr. And that's one of the reasons he probably would come here, is because we have a quarterback. So ATL in the house. 707 Vallejo, man. 619 San Diego up in here, man. So that's 12 years ago. Shake my head. It is 12 years ago. So depending if you want to hold on to the past or whatever the case may be, it's still relevant. Definitely still relevant. Jonathan, haven't seen you in a minute. Jonathan, how you been? He said he was cheating. A former Broncos linebacker said yesterday. Shake my head. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I had seen. I had also seen that it ended up being verified that it was false, that they really weren't cheating, but who really knows, man? Salt Lake City in the building, 831, Castroville, 303. What's good with you, man? Lancaster. Okay, Prez. I see you, Prez, up in Lancaster. Or I should say down in Lancaster. I'm up in Northern Cali, out here in Sacramento. Bill Gates says he got multiple rings. End of story. See, I can't really roll with that, because the fact that every single coach that came from that staff has multiple rings and failed. So who would you compare him to, Josh McDaniels, if every other coach that came from Bill Belichick has failed? Think about it. Who from the New England's coaching staff has done well? Y'all let me know in the comments, because I don't think you can really name one. Bill O'Brien was probably the most successful coach that came out of the New England staff. He was the offensive coordinator as well before Josh McDaniels. He went to the Texans, and we know what happens to the Texans. We know what happened to the Texans. They got that right there was just it was looking ugly. Ray, could you fix that Raiders shield? It's bugging me. Raiders shield. Where the Raiders shield? Which one, bro? He said, can you fix that Raiders shield? Which one, bro? This one? Let me see. I can move in. What Raiders shield? What you talking about? This one? Man said, fix the Raiders shield. I don't know, man. Brian Flores. I mean, is Brian Flores really successful, though? Casper says Brian Flores did okay with Miami. You know, was he really successful, though? Think about it like this, guys. What I mean by successful is, did they live up to the Patriots, to what you would expect from the Patriots? Come on. Like the big one on the left. Yeah, this one? What you talking about? Big one on the left, on right shoulder? The sideways one. Bro, y'all got me tripping. Oh, this one. Oh, y'all talking about this one? The flag? People saying over my right shoulder. Someone said the sideways one. Someone said, oh man, the big one. What's wrong with it? Is it like crazy? Is it too stressed out? What's wrong with it? I ain't never heard anybody say that. What's wrong with it? Let's see. Brian says Mike Vrabel doing a good job. What you talking about? Well, you know, Mike Vrabel didn't coach with the Patriots, though. That's the thing. Mike Vrabel was never a coach with the Patriots, so you can't really use him. And I'm not saying that he didn't play with them or whatever, but the case. But did Mike Vrabel ever coach for them? Brian, did he? You see what I'm saying? Because I always thought to myself, Mike Vrabel, you know what I mean? But then again, you go look, he was the coach for the Texans. He was actually a coach for the Texans. Yeah, exactly, Prince. Vrabel was a player, not a coach for the Patriots. What's good with you, Sauce? I see you, Sauce, in the building. NorCal in the house. What's good with you, man? What's good with you, man? Hey, if y'all can, make sure to hit that like button. You already know what it is. Make sure to rate the like button. Rate that subscribe button if y'all new here. You already know what it is, man. And rate or ride it. Exactly. Vrabel was only a player. Exactly. So try not to get confused with Vrabel playing for the Patriots and him coaching for the Patriots. You know what I mean? So there's a difference right there. Definitely a difference. James Stewart says that background is badass. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Stu. Appreciate it, James Stu. Raider Nation says, I'm down with McDaniels. People holding Denver against him are the same ones that think Dennis Allen is the same coach he was back 2012. People grow from experiences. I definitely agree with you. But let's go ahead and jump into it, bro. David Johnson says, sup, I'm from Elk Grove, homie. What's good with you, man? I'm over here in the north, over here by close to Roseville, in between Roseville and Highlands, man. Let's go ahead and talk about, the boy Farrell pulled up on us, man. He said, I'm slowly but surely warming up to the idea of McDaniels. Offensive genius, elite play caller with car fire. You know, I somewhat agree with that. But if y'all can, listen to my boy NorCal Jesse. He be spitting straight facts, man. Make sure y'all rate the like button, Raider Nation. You already know what it is, man. You already know what it is. Farrell, let me know if you want to pull up, bro. Let me know if you want to pull up. Farrell. Miguel says, yo, Raid, why is it taking so long to make decisions? We need to start working on offseason. I 100% agree. And I kind of talked about this in the live yesterday. The fact that it's can't come out that the players that actually been speaking out have been Max Crosby and Derek Carr, specifically, have spoke out saying they wanted Rich Bisaccia to be the coach. And personally, I think that was kind of becoming an ethical thing when it came to Mark Davis, the players, and then choosing a GM and a coach. And then when it comes out, Derek Carr wanting to have some type of consistency and not wanting to change everything, and that's going to probably be the case, I think there was some type of riffle there. So I think that's why Mark Davis is taking his time. But let's go ahead and I'm not going to convince y'all. I'm not going to try to convince y'all to be sold on Josh McDaniels. I'm not going to try to tell y'all to like him or anything. But let's just take a step back and think about it, bro. The dude has had a top 10 offense ever since he got New England. Ever since he got to New England, he's had a top 10 offense. He started in New England in 2012, and ever since then, they've had a top 10 offense. There's been one instance where they didn't, and it was last year when they had Cam Newton and their offense was ranked 27th. But every year outside of 2020, the Patriots have had a top 10 offense. Not only that, out of that 10 years, 4 out of those 10 years, they had a top 5 offense. And Josh McDaniels has been there for about 10 years. That's what I'm saying, 10 years. 2012 to now, so it's about 9. It's about 9. So that right there, I had to take a step back. I had to go look at it, and I had to really say, that's impressive. You cannot take that away from Josh McDaniels. The fact that they've had a top 10 offense since 2012, since they hired him, that's impressive. So I took a step back and I said, okay, I'm going to give him that. Let me give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to hold him to what the stats say. Not only that, he has shown to improve a run attack. He has shown to improve a running game, and he does like to run the football. He's a very well-balanced offensive coordinator. Those 2 points right there are definitely something that is going to make me kind of lean towards Josh McDaniels being, all right, it's okay. You know what I mean? That's not too bad. So with those 2 points, and then my last point, my third point being if he is the head coach, then I wouldn't be too worried as long as the GM is the GM and he is only the head coach. You know what I mean? So what I mean is, how John Gruden came in, and John Gruden was the head coach, the GM, the president. John Gruden was everything for the Raiders when he came in, right? He was everything. But if we get Josh McDaniels and he's only the head coach, he's only calling he's only doing the offense, then I'm fine with it. And this is what I mean by hear me out. You know what I mean? Hear me out about Josh McDaniels. If he's a good play caller, if he knows how to be innovative with the offense, if he could get the run game going and get this offense moving, then I wouldn't be mad at that, as long as that's only his job to be the head coach and take control of the offense. Now, who would the defensive coordinator bring? I don't know who the DC would be, but as long as the DC does what he wants and Josh McDaniels is the head coach and the offensive coordinator, that's it. And then we bring in a GM, or we have our GM, whoever our GM is, and they draft, they make the decisions. That's what I mean by hear me out. I don't want Josh McDaniels to come in here and to be choosing who we draft. I don't want him to come in here to be choosing who we sign in free agency type stuff. Of course, he's the head coach, and he will have a word. He will have something to say about who we bring in, who we draft, of course. But I want the GM to be the GM. If we go get Ed Dodds, I want Dodds to be the final say. I want a GM that's going to have a backbone. And if Josh McDaniels says something, he's going to respond in a way that's he's not going to fold, a way that he's going to say what he wants to say, regardless of who Josh McDaniels done, who he is, where he came from. And that's the kind of GM that I want. So hear me out. Hear me out. If we get Josh McDaniels, I don't think it'll be as bad as everybody's saying. I just think it'll be bad if we bring him in and let him have too much control of the team. Let him have too much decision-making opportunities to make decisions, right? He will be the head coach, and then we bring in a GM that's going to be the GM. And I think that's why I wouldn't oppose Josh McDaniels too much as I did at first. And like I said at the beginning of the live, I'm not a big fan of Josh McDaniels. I'm not sitting here trying to convince anybody that he's the greatest person for the job. I'm not trying to sit here convince anybody that he's the best offensive coordinator in the league, that he's going to take us to the Super Bowl. None of that. I just think that he is a competent offensive coordinator. He has proven it. His track record shows it, that he has proven to be a good offensive coordinator. Okay, so, that's just me kind of trying to take a step back, not be biased, try to be transparent, and really go and look at the information before I really judge him too much, because the track record shows he knows how to have an offense move. He can get an offense going, and as long as he's only the head coach and not drafting players, then I will be fine with that. As long as our GM has a backbone and we bring in a GM that's going to be able to tell Josh McDaniels no, he's going to do what he wants as a GM, and Josh McDaniels is going to coach, and he's going to call the best offensive play calls that he can. So, that's just me trying to be transparent. Like I said, I'm not trying to convince y'all, but just telling y'all, hear me out. Just hear me out when it comes to Josh McDaniels. Now, let me get to the chat, man. Let me get to the chat. And I'm going to see what my boy Farrell has to say. I always love to bring Farrell up because he always has reasonable logic. And always a good member to have up on here. So, Farrell, if you want to pull up, I dropped it for you, man. Jose says, yo, Raid, what about that Patriots GM? He good? So the Patriots, I think you're talking about Ziegler, and Ziegler's not the New England Patriots GM. He's I can't remember the specific job title that he is, but he's like an assistant to the GM, basically. He's like a personnel guy. I don't think he's a scout. I think he's a personnel, some type of exec like that. But I don't know about him. I would rather bring in Dodds and Josh McDaniels. If we bring in Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, I feel like those two, bringing them both from New England, is going to – it's like they're together. So they're going to try to do too much that New England does. And I just don't want that. I'd rather have him come in and be the OC and the head coach, and then bring in a different GM so that GM could battle what Josh McDaniels wants. I feel like if we bring in Ziegler, he's going to agree too much with what Josh McDaniels wants, and I don't want that. I don't want somebody that's going to come in as a GM and agree with everything Josh McDaniels says. I don't want that. That's the one thing I'm worried about. Bill Gates says, Ray, do you think McDaniels did a good job with Mac Jones? People say MJ was the best rookie quarterback this season. I don't like Mac Jones, bro. Honestly, I don't like Mac Jones. I know people were hyping him up, and I don't think he was worth the hype. And their defense was pretty good. The Patriots defense was pretty good. I see you, Farrell, man. I'm gonna pull you up real quick. What's good?
Yo, what's good, man? How you doing, man?
I can't. I don't think I can hear. I can't hear you, man.
Can you hear me? Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, see if you could fix the audio and just pull up, bro. But he did pretty well with Mac Jones, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people will sit there and say, well, Josh McDaniels had Tom Brady, and I can't argue that, bro. I cannot argue somebody that sits there and tells me, well, Josh McDaniels had Tom Brady, so that's why he looks so good. I can't argue that, so that's something I can't argue, But if you look at this year alone, what's good with you?
Hear me now? Hello.
Can you hear me? Yo. I can hear you, bro.
All right, for sure. Hey, man, what's good, Ray? How you been?
I'm good. For everybody out to know, this is Farrell from the East, man. He always pulls up. Very smart, brother. Glad you able to pull up, man. What's your thoughts so far? Well, yeah, let me get your thoughts on Josh McDaniels. Then I want to get your thoughts on, me trying to have the people hear me out, But what's your first initial thought when it came to the Josh McDaniels potential hiring, him being interviewed?
Man, at first, my first thought was like, damn, the fucking Patriots, you know what I mean? Like I just obviously, with me being a Raider fan, obviously you being a Raider fan, we don't like the Patriots. I don't think anybody likes the Patriots.
Yep.
That being said, the background with McDaniels is kind of questionable because he did make some mistakes back in he drafted Tebow. You know what I mean? Like that was crazy.
Yeah.
He traded up for Tebow, and then he got caught cheating. And then you know what I'm saying? And then like after he got caught cheating, did he get fired? And then they lost like I don't know if you watched this podcast. It's called I Am Athlete. And DJ Williams, I don't know if you've seen that clip that's been going around. And he was kind of going into detail on how like man, they were cheating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
they were recording opponents' practices.
Yeah, which is crazy. But like I was saying in the chat, I mean, I'm kind of warming up to the idea because he is an offensive genius. Like he knows like you mentioned, he top 10 offenses left and right. You know what I mean? Like he did a good job with Mac Jones, and I think that's what Carr needs, man. Like all these quarterbacks, man, they got good offensive coordinators or elite play callers. Like I know as talented as Patrick Mahomes is, like he has an elite play caller in Andy
Yep.
Reid. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
if people don't know the background of Andy Reid, this man had McNabb looking like an MVP. He had like his backups looking like an MVP. He had Michael Vick looking straight out of prison, looking like a, you know what I mean, like
Yep.
one of the best players
And,
in the league.
and not only that, didn't he have Alex Smith right before Mahomes?
Boom, Alex Smith looking like
A chance
out,
going, almost to the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
exactly. So they, so that's what Patrick Mahomes has on top of the weapons that he has.
Mhm.
Carr, Greg Olsen, come on, man. No number
Yeah,
one
yeah.
receiver. You know what I mean? Like you got to give. I know it's nice to have a tight end, but you got to give a quarterback an outside receiver. That's
Yep.
what's gonna like scare the defense the most. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yep.
easier to take away a tight end than a I don't know. You maybe could break this down a little bit, but I feel like if you have an outside receiver that's dominant, I mean, I'll take that over a elite tight end. I mean, that's just it's
100%, 100%.
you know
Because
what I'm saying?
the thing with I've talked about this before. The thing with the wide receiver, when they're outside, you can't really do anything unless you have two guys pressed up against them. When you're outside, he could do a comeback route, beat the corner every single time. You can't do nothing.
Right.
With a tight end, he's lined up inside of the hash marks most of the time. Like he's lined up inside. So there's too much traffic, and it's harder for him to get open than it would be for a guy that's all the way on the side of the field. If anything, he had a safety over top, and even then, you still get beat underneath. We've seen
And
it
it
happen dozens of times with Devontae Adams. There's two guys covering him, and he still gets the touchdown. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So
Great point.
it's definitely harder
Great
for a
point.
tight end when there's so much traffic in the middle.
I agree 100%. As a greater player as Darren Waller is, you see the Henry Ruggs effect. You see
Yeah.
how much and Henry Ruggs he technically he wasn't really a number one receiver, but he had so much speed. You
Yep.
had to respect him like a number one receiver. And you've seen how that opened up the offense for Darren Waller, for Renfro to do his dirty work, you know what I mean,
Yep.
for the other receivers to do their thing, you know what I mean? And when he left, it was like an adjustment period. And that's why you kind of seen Zay Jones try to take that spot. It just looked kind of weird, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Even though much respect to Zay Jones,
Mhm.
I think his game is more of the smaller routes, intermediate routes. I don't think he's a deep guy. I don't. Every time Carr threw it deep, it seemed like it was an interception or
Yep.
like
Get a
Jay
lucky
Jones.
PI call.
He looked like kind of lost. Like, where's the ball? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, bro. Like, stop calling these plays for this dude. It's not his
No,
forte.
100%, bro. And also, I'll add to that, and just for everybody in the chat, we're not sitting here saying we like Josh McDaniels. We're trying to be transparent. We're trying to be unbiased, and we're trying to just, see from it from a different angle a little bit. Because I can sit here and bash Josh McDaniels all day, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to sit here and be a little bit more transparent, take a step back, and learn something and see maybe there's something there. And just to add to what you were saying, bringing Josh McDaniels might, ramp up Waller's production. It might ramp up that connection between Carr and Waller. And that's, we know what Josh McDaniels has done with tight ends before. We know there's been a connection. We talk about Tom Brady, Gronk, whatever. And I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, but I'm just saying there's history there that he's able to get tight ends productive, right? So I think that's something considerable. Let me get to the super chat from ONT6 real quick, man. He says, Raid, how do you feel? How do you feel about what DJ Williams saying? The only reason Josh won in Denver because they cheating. I mean, how do I feel about that? Honestly, man, I would say I don't even think they was winning in Denver. So that's pretty bad look. That's a bad look. The fact that you're cheating and you still not winning, I think that's a bad look because I believe the first year Josh McDaniels was with the Broncos, they were 8-8. And then the second year, I believe before he got fired or he resigned, whatever happened, he was 6-9 or something like that. I can't remember. So they weren't really winning in Denver when they had Josh McDaniels. And if he was cheating, that's not a good look because you're losing and you're cheating and still losing. So it's definitely not a good look. Omar says, bro, Mark needs to go. The man is a clown. Look, we've talked about it. I don't think Mark Davis is ever going to sell this football team, man. I just don't see that happen. I just don't see that happening, bro.
Does he even have a son? I always wondered, like
I don't think he has children, bro. Does he?
Like, what would happen if Mark Davis died? Like, where would the team? That's kind of random. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know
you
what
know what I'm
happened, man.
saying?
Yeah. Jeff Ender says that's how they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. How did they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl? With a tight end? With what? Well, let me know, man. Let me know, Henders. What do you mean by that? Let me know, Henders. James says, please, no Bill O'Brien for OC if we get McDaniels for head coach. Uh-oh. You
Well, you
know,
know what? Someone was giving him credit. I seen like a tweet saying that Bill O'Brien was like one of the reasons that they designed that two tight end offense. Because when McDaniels went to Denver, who was the offense coordinator for New England? It was Bill
Bill
O'Brien,
O'Brien.
and that's when they drafted. They had the Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, and that offense. I'm not gonna lie, like that was a pretty good offense.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bill O'Brien, I don't know, man. Not as a head coach, but like
An
I don't know if he's
OC,
a bad.
though? I just don't like the thing is I don't like Bill O'Brien just because of his reputation, his history, and I just don't want to see
Yeah.
him on the sidelines in Raiders gear, man. I just do not want to see that.
And to be honest, I'm not like a huge fan of this McDaniels hire because it's like, man, like we're like right now, I feel like the Raiders right now are a premier destination with the new stadium, the new
Yep.
facility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
we just got out the playoffs. You know what I mean? We got some young talent. We still need to build more talent, but
Yep.
we got some young talent. We got a veteran QB that's in his prime, so we don't got to force a draft pick on a QB. We could wait a little bit if we wanted to do that. I feel like we could get the top of we could get like the best coaching available, but from what I'm hearing, the rumors, I don't know if you could speak to this as well. I feel like I think Derek Carr is a big influence on this Josh McDaniel hiring if it does happen.
I don't know. I don't know if Carr has a big influence on the McDaniels. Are you saying that he has an influence as far as wanting to get Daniels?
Okay, hear me out.
Or
Hear me out. This is my little conspiracy. Hear me out. I don't know if Chat's
yeah, I
gonna
want
agree
to
with
hear
me.
this. I want to hear this, man, because I'm here
So
for it, bro.
So last week, last Friday is when the news dropped. This is when Ziegler got interviewed, and then it
Mhm.
so happened when he got interviewed, obviously rumors came out that if he were to get hired, then McDaniels would be the natural pairing between the two.
Mhm.
And then it was like rumors were coming out like this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and then the rumors started to fade. And then like Vic Tafer, he's one of the beat writers for the Raiders. He was like, man, it lost steam at first. They were really thinking about it, but now like it's like it's open field. Like anybody could come in, like Ed Dodds or could come in and take over, right? And then I know you seen that David Carr interview.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, David Carr, his brother, comes on national TV and he's all like, "Oh, I'm not speaking for my brother, but you need to give Carr what he really needs." And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, a day later, boom, McDaniels pops into the pops into the picture. So I don't know, I don't know if the chat can speak on this or whatever, but I just feel like it's kind of like a coincidence that McDaniels, which is an offensive coach, because they only been interviewing defensive coaches. If you haven't noticed, like
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if has there been any offensive coaches interviewed other than McDaniels, which is weird. You know what I'm saying? You would think like, hey man, like
I like what you just said, bro. I like what you just said. Like that, I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think about it like that, man. And you might be on to something. You might be on to something right there because, like you said, Vic Tafer had, if I believe it was Vic Tafer that had put out that, talks with McDaniels was kind of out the window. We weren't going to go that route. But then all of a sudden, like you said, a few things come out, and then McDaniels is back in the building. Interview, boom, like that. Now he's
yep,
getting an interview today. So
yep.
it's that's interesting you say that, man. I wonder if Carr does have an influence on it. I wonder if
For
he
sure,
does.
for sure, man. Come on,
And
man. Like it's not the smart move to get rid of Carr, man. It's not the smart
yeah,
move.
I,
Like
I, I agree. I
there
100%
there
agree.
there are better options. I'm not gonna be one of them like Carr fanatics. There are better options, but
Yeah.
what is it gonna take to get those better options? Are we gonna get
Yep.
worse? If we get those better options, are we really gonna be good? Are we gonna be making the playoffs? Are we gonna barely make the playoffs because
Yeah.
we don't have enough talent because we traded away our first round picks to get Russell Wilson, our first round picks to get Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is not a free agent.
Right.
I don't know why people think that I know people think he's going to be leaving. And he might very well leave, but he's not a free agent, so he's going to be traded. And guess what? A 2-time MVP, back-to-back MVP. He's probably going to be demanding like first-round picks.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure. He's gonna demand a lot. Him, Wilson, Watson. It
And a
doesn't
huge
matter.
contract. And a huge
Yeah,
contract. You know what I'm saying? A way
yeah,
bigger contract than Derek Carr. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Way bigger. And like you said, it's not. It's we wouldn't be able to get rid of Carr and then go get a quarterback like that and then continue building. Because at that point, we basically use our draft capital and our salary cap just to get a quarterback.
Yep.
So let me get to the super chat real quick. Jeff Henry was talking about Spygate. He says Belichick videoed Kurt Warner's Rams. So he was talking about that's how the Patriots beat the Rams. It was by cheating. was by cheating. But yo, we got over 300 people. If y'all can, make sure to rate the like button, man. If y'all new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well. I got my boy Farrell with me. He just broke down he just broke something down real good that I actually like. And I kind of spoke on something like that before because I felt like, and this was kind of my opinion as well, that Derek Carr did have an influence in why it took so long to find a GM and coach. And that's why I felt like Derek Carr had an influence and why Mark Davis was taking his time. But the way you just put it, you put it in a great way, and the way you articulate it made me really understand it differently. So I'm glad you let the audience know that, man. Chili Man says we need Harbaugh and Dodge, trade Carr for picks, and go get Kenny Pickett. And there's a group of fans that feel this way. And I wouldn't oppose to Harbaugh. I wouldn't oppose to getting Dodge. I wouldn't oppose to trading Carr, and I wouldn't oppose to getting Kenny Pickett, man. So I do like this comment. I'm sorry, I do like this comment. But the only thing I don't like is trading something you have versus something you don't know about. And that's my biggest concern when it comes to trading Carr, trying to get picks, and then going to get Kenny Pickett. At that point, I would just keep Carr and just roll with what we have. But what do you think about Ziegler? What do you think about Ziegler and the boy said McDaniels would have been my last option. What do you think about Ziegler being the GM or Dodds being the GM? I don't know if you know too much about either of them, but I just want to, like I said earlier, I don't want Ziegler because I feel like he would favor McDaniels' opinion too much. And I don't want that. I don't want McDaniels' opinion on who we should draft, who we should get in free agency, how much we should pay people. I don't want his opinion to hinder our GM's thought process because they're cool with each other because they came from New England. I don't really want that. I'd rather have Dodds. He seemed like a guy that has a backbone who will say something to Josh McDaniels if you don't agree with him. And so I would rather have Dodds. What's your opinion on the GM, though, whether it's whoever it may be? We don't even know if it's going to be Ziegler or Dodds, but I think those right now are the biggest names.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was like, man, why are we getting a GM from the Patriots when we know that he wasn't making picks? You know what I'm saying? It was,
Well, he's like a personnel executive.
He
or
was a
something
Mike
like that.
Mayock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He was gathering information for Bill Belichick to get the best picks.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of a risky kind of thing. But at the end of the day, like all these GM options are really risky. I mean, unless they were GMs in their former, position. Ed Dodds, I like Ed Dodds just because I like the background that he helped build the Seattle Seahawks, Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
I like that when he went to the Colts. Hey, it's not by accident that they end up start building a lot of good talent out there in Indianapolis. They don't have a quarterback, and I know you kind of like get on him for trading for Wentz, but I don't put that on him, man. I think Frank Reich was just pushing for his guy, and they just got him his guy. Like, all right, this is your quarterback. You can coach him up. All right, cool. We're gonna get him. You know what I mean? And it doesn't look like it's working out over there. But as far as the talent around him, come on, man. That elite O line, Jonathan Taylor. They got everything, bro. They probably need a receiver. You know what I'm saying? I think they probably need a receiver or something like that. But
they did get Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman Jr. is a beast. I like him.
Is he a number one? He might be a number two.
I could see. I think I could see him being a number one, bro. Personally, Carson Wentz is just garbage to me, bro. He's big. So? He's a pretty good route runner. He can break tackles. He can run after the catch. I just like that about him. He's not built off of speed, and I think that also lasts. When your game's not built off speed, then I think that's how you last in the NFL. So that's why I like him.
His game is basically what's the guy from Tampa Bay?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. That's his game. That big boy receiver. You know what I'm saying? Jump ball. You know what I mean? He's not like a route runner. I mean, he could probably
Yeah.
run good routes. You know what I mean? He got
Yeah.
to. You know, if you're not fast or whatever, you got to be a technician. But
Mhm.
I think he's still developing.
No, most definitely, most definitely. And add to the Dodds thing, and I had to warm up to the Dodds being the GM. I had to warm up to it a little bit. Me personally, I liked Eberflus, the defensive coordinator from the Colts, who the Bears just hired as their head coach. That's who I wanted as the head coach. Uh, I don't think that the talent so much on the Colts is like so great. Personally, I just think that the coaching was great, especially on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, it was decent. They did get Jonathan Taylor, and they just piggyback off of his talents. They have a strong O line, of course. That you can contribute to him helping to build that offensive line. But outside of that, I just think on the defensive side of the ball, I think that's where most of their juice came from, honestly. And I think it came from Eberflus. He was a great coach. You think about all the players they got: Kenny Moore, Rock Ya-Sin, Okereke. They have a bunch of guys that really aren't big names. They really aren't like huge, great superstar players. But there are some good subpar, a little above average players that they're balling out on defense, though, right? Who do they have that's a superstar really on the defense? DeForest
Oh,
Buckner, kind of.
Leonard,
Darius
Leonard's a,
Leonard.
there's
One
Leonard, and then
linebacker, bro. One linebacker. You look at the Rams, they got fucking Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. They got Von Miller now.
But you got to remember though, I hear what you're saying. I agree with 100%. They probably do got great coaching, but you got to remember, like a lot of the players that the Rams got, they traded for. So it's
Yeah, for
already they're
sure.
players in their prime. They're ready to go. A lot of the players on that Colts defense, they're developing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They got some
And that's
young.
and that contributes to my point of coaching, because you look at, he has players that aren't superstars. He don't have Aaron Donald. He don't have Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller trading for all these superstars, right? But their defense is stacked. Their defense is very good. You want to sit there and say, "Oh, that one guy is just blowing up the deep. He's just making the Colts defense that much greater." No, it's a pretty good defense in a collective as a unit. And for
I would
me,
say
I just
Leonard is.
think that's
I
Eberflus.
would say Leonard is a superstar though. I would
No,
say
no,
Leonard.
I'm not going to take away Leonard being a superstar or anything, but at what level is it like, is he Aaron Donald to where he's a
No,
game changer? At
no,
what
no.
level is he TJ Watt leading the league in sacks? You know what I mean? At what
Yeah.
level you see what I'm saying? Leonard is great, but one outside linebacker, like it's not like he's Ray
Buckner's
Lewis.
nice.
It's not like he's
Buckner's
Ray
nice.
Lewis. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
you
got
see
you.
what I'm saying? He's not Ray Lewis. He's not Bobby Wagner. You see what I'm saying? So I just look at that defense. I'm like, yo, we should have got that Eberflus, bro. Like, I just feel like it would have went perfect. He would have been the DC head coach, and we would have had a great OC. Would have only focused on the offense. Wouldn't have to worry about anything else. I just think that would have been a good route. But
And
go
and
ahead,
that's
man.
the thing too is that a lot of these defensive coaches, like who would they have brought offensively? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the big thing, and I think that's where Carr comes in. I think he's influencing, like you said, like you know what I'm saying. This is why the process has been taking a little
Mhm.
longer. Some of it has to do with the Rooney Rule. Some of it has to do with
Yeah.
Mark Davis is taking his time. Like if you look at all the times that Mark Davis has hired a coach or a GM, like he's done it a different way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It hasn't been the same every time, and this time it's different. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yep.
taking his time. He's interviewing everybody, which I have no problem. Get the
Mhm.
best, especially now because we got options. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
this is the most options that we ever had. Like because let's be honest, like the Raiders have not been a good team, so we
True.
haven't had like a lot of options. We had to take the risk for that guy that no one really wants to offer a head coaching
Mhm.
job, but
Yeah.
we're the only ones to do it because we need to. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. And it's
hiring a
like the
Lane
thing.
Kiffin. You know what I'm saying? Like hiring a
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin. You know some shit like that, or a Dennis Allen. Like come on, bro. Like you
No,
know what I'm
for sure.
saying?
We just coming off of the playoff season. You have a pretty stable quarterback situation. Very young team, a lot of cap space. So whoever the GM is, I just hope they don't come in here and just ruin our cap, because I think we're after the cuts, after we do the cuts to build up some cap space, we're gonna be up there like top 5 in cap space. So, and I believe we have all our draft picks, or are we missing a 7th round pick? And I think we doubled up on 4th round picks, something like that.
Something like
But
that.
let me get a super chat by Luis, man. I know it's been up here for a minute. He said, y'all are right. Carr has a say. He was live earlier. He said, when asked about Hunter, I love him. I'm glad we're going to play together for years to come. Um, you know, I seen he was live. He was doing his preaching thing. I didn't really watch it. But, if he said that, If, if he said that, I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? I don't really know what that means. Sometimes they be saying stuff like that, but we'll see. We'll see, man. Let me get to the chat though. Show the chat some love. See what everybody's talking about up in here. Let me see. Chili Man says Renfro will be a Raider with or without Carr. I agree. I agree with that, bro. Renfro is going to be a Raider, whether Carr is here or not. He's staying. Just like Max Crosby's going to be a Raider, regardless whether Carr is here or not, type stuff. But rather Rich, or I should say Rich Bisaccia. Whether Rich Bisaccia is here or not, Max Crosby's still saying. If you haven't seen, he's been fluent. He's been outspoken, or whatever the term is, about keeping Rich Bisaccia as the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with they just like him as a person. You know what I'm saying? They really like him. They trust him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think,
Yep.
and you know, players probably don't like change. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to know like the unknown. Like, all right, this new guy coming in, they feel like they got to start over, which I understand. But you know, if you look at the bigger picture, we need. Hey, we get to the playoffs. We need some coaches that know how to game plan, put players in a position to succeed, man.
We need coaches that can adjust. That was one thing that was annoying. We would wait so long to adjust. It was annoying. But Raider Nice says, I don't know if this is true or not, but Raider Nice says McDaniels hired Eberflus to be his DC with the Colts, and when he left, Eberflus stayed. So at least we see he knows how to hire a little. I don't really know too much about that, man. I honestly have to fact check that. I don't really know. But that's interesting. Right. I wonder if that's true. Tribe says fake news. Derek Carr has absolutely no say in who is going to be the Raiders' next GM and head coach. I wouldn't say that, bro. I wouldn't say that. You have a quarterback.
You know what I'm saying?
Quarterback in an extension year. If he had no say whatsoever, Derek Carr would be traded this year. I'm sorry, but why would you? If Derek Carr has no say whatsoever, Derek Carr would be gone. He'd be getting traded at this point, man. I think him and Mark Davis has had at least a couple conversations, especially if Derek Carr was drafted by Mark Davis. He's been the quarterback. He's been basically the quarterback since Mark Davis almost took over for the Raiders. Like, what? How long has it been? It's been since 2011 since Al Davis passed.
It's about 3 years. 3 years after Carr was drafted.
So to think that Mark Davis and Derek Carr do not have conversations about this, I don't know.
I think that person he's taking it too literal. Like it's very indirect. You know what I'm saying?
Like he's saying, like Derek Carr's choosing, like, no, you got to go hire him.
No. Carr is gonna be indirect, and like, come on, like Mark Davis ain't stupid. Like he's like, all right, if I make this move, then this is not gonna work well with the QB. And then guess what? He's up for a contract year. You know what I'm saying? It's unguaranteed money. Quarterbacks don't play on contracts that's not guaranteed. So are they going to trade him? You know what I'm saying? Like, so come on, man. It's all indirect. It's all a game. You know what I'm saying? You got to
yeah, for sure. It's a business at the end of the day. But when it comes to Derek Carr, I don't think it's a business as in, I'm trying to make money. He's like, I'm trying to make a business move to where I can win. And I think people take that away from Carr as if he doesn't really want to win, and then they kind of get caught up in their own personal opinion of Carr as well. So, Alan says they might want Dodd, and maybe they don't want Harbaugh. So Dodd's like, hey, why not McDaniels? There was a report that came out that it said Ed Dodds blew away Mark Davis and the Raiders, and is looking like the best GM candidate so far that has been interviewed. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Tossie on me, man. Tossie, he on me. He said, wait, did you say Leonard not like them? Leonard is the top linebacker in the NFL. He's a good linebacker, but I just don't think he's a Ray Lewis or a Bobby Wagner type. Like
you don't think he's a great player. You think he's a good player, very good player.
No, I think he's great, but for me, in my opinion, Bobby Wagner and Ray Lewis kind of linebackers. There's only so many. Like there's Fred.
You think they're elite,
right?
Do you think he's elite?
Yeah, he's elite. Yeah.
Because when you say elite, you can only think when you say elite, you're talking about maybe like 3 to 4
that's like
players.
Top 5 in the whole position. Like
there's only
so many.
You know what I'm saying? Like even like let's say tight end, right? Honestly, there's probably only 3 elite tight ends. You know what I'm saying? And then there's like it's a little bit of a drop off. You know what I mean? Like there you got You got the dude from San Francisco, and then you got
Kittle, yeah,
you got
you got Kittle and Kels.
Kelsey, and then you got Waller. You know what I'm saying? And after that,
Yep.
it's a little bit of a drop off. Maybe Mark Andrews, but I don't think he's
Waller,
as good
shit,
as
Waller
like.
had a drop off, man. Shit, he need to come back, bro.
Yeah, this year
And
he looked like I don't know. But what's going to help him though is back to the McDaniels hiring.
yep.
McDaniels is going to he's going to set him up nice.
No, most
You know
definitely,
what I'm
man.
saying?
Shout out KC with the super chat. He says, "Love the show. Glad Davis is being thorough." I agree, man. You know, let's try to stay positive. I know people want to see her and throw up from the sound of Josh McDaniels, maybe the potential head coach of the Raiders, but let's just take a step back, try to be a little optimistic here, and let's be glad Davis is being thorough. He's not rushing to it, and he's trying to figure out what the hell going on. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt, right? And you think about it, I think Mark Davis gets bashed a little bit too much, man, because think about it. I don't know if you ever been to a Raiders game. I don't know I don't know where you reside, if you're in Cali, the Bay Area. If you're
I'm actually in Oakland. I'm actually in Oakland.
okay, so you've been to a Raiders game.
Yep, yes sir.
And have you been to a Vegas game yet?
Not yet, man. Not
Okay,
yet.
so you know the Coliseum, bro, was the thing that sticks with me first off with the Coliseum is the bathrooms. And I just did not like the bathrooms, bro. And it would bother me. I don't know what it was. It would bother me. And I'm thinking in my head, like, bro, we're in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And we're pissing in bathtubs. That would have that like
some wild animals. Like some wild animals, bro.
Exactly. And the fact that Mark Davis got us such a nice stadium in Vegas, bro. When I went to the stadium, I'm like, bro, this is crazy. This is the nice stadium I've ever been to.
I want to go, bro.
But it's the best stadium I've ever seen, ever been to. The fact he got us a stadium, bro. Like he got us to the playoffs twice. To the playoffs twice. After we've been garbage since 2002. You know what I mean? Got us to the playoffs twice since he's taken over. And we've already established that was like 2012, I think. Got us to the playoffs twice. I know it's not great or anything. It's like nothing to be woo over, but shit, we was in a drought. You know what I mean? We was in a drought. Gets us to the playoffs twice. Finds us a quarterback he might not be the greatest, but some consistency at quarterback. It's not Jason Campbell, Jamarcus Russell, Matt Flynn, Carson Palmer. You know what I mean? So, you know, we got to give Mark Davis just a little bit more credit, man. A little bit more credit. Try not to bash him. You know, we're getting a lot more exposure. The Super Bowl is being at our stadium. The Pro Bowl is going to be at our stadium. And the draft's going to be at our stadium this year in April, which I'm going to probably go to. Hope to see y'all there if y'all pull up. So I think he just needs to get a little bit more credit, man.
No, and one thing I like about Mark Davis, because man, come on, man, I've been a Raider fan for a long time, and I know you've been a Raider fan for a long time, so you know a little bit of how Al Davis used to get down, in his later years, though.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And Al Davis, just hearing the players talk, hearing how like these beat writers used to talk, like man, like you know, he used to call plays, man. Like he used to force defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators to call a certain play during the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's
throw the ball deep. Throw it deep.
Yeah, throw it deep. You know what I mean? Warren Sapp, I think it was on his podcast where he brought it up. He was saying that Al Davis called in and said he needed to throw the ball deep or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mark Davis knows himself.
Yes.
He knows he don't know shit about football. You know what I'm saying? But he's gonna hire someone that does.
Yep.
He has made mistakes though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He made a mistake with Gruden. Let's be honest here. He made a mistake with Gruden. He gave him too much power. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now, you know what I mean? Now he's taking his time. And like, hey, you can't hate on it. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to make the best decision. He wants to win. Because he just got a brand new stadium. Guess what we want to do in a brand new stadium with a new market? You want to win games. So that's a good combination for at least for us fans to see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And you got to think, he's only been doing this for so long. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to, you know, I think he's trying to figure it out. He's not Al Davis, who was basically a founder of this, you know what I mean? An originator of the whole NFL, fighting against the NFL, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So he's trying to figure it out himself. But I think Mark Davis has to get a little bit more credit than what he's had. People want to hate on him, the way he looks and all sorts of stuff. I mean, the way he looks and his physical has nothing to do with football at all. I don't like that kind of banter. But David, go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead. Go read that super chat, bro.
David Dowdy says, watch, we need one drive. Watch, we need one drive on YouTube. Watch McDaniels work, then make up your mind. Definitely something people need to do. You got to go do your research. Go look at McDaniels' stats. Go see how the offense has been while under Josh McDaniels. He took over as offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots in 2012, I believe. After his stint with the Broncos, he was only with the Broncos for 2 years. I believe his record was 14-17 or something like that with the Broncos. He goes to New England in 2011, 2012, something like that. Been with them ever since that time. So basically almost 10 years. And within that span, he's had a top 10 offense. Half of that time it was top 5. And the only time it wasn't top 10 was last year when it was when they had Cam Newton and all sorts of stuff was going on over there. So, he has a decent track record as far as offense. If y'all just joining us, I got Farrell with me right here talking about the Josh McDaniels interview. It's supposed to happen today. I don't know if Mark Davis is going to meet him at a Hooters or a PF Chang's, but they're supposed to be having an interview today, man. Shout out to Tubby Chili, man. You already know what it is. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if y'all new here. Appreciate everybody pulling up. Let's go ahead and hop into the chat, man, and see what everybody's talking about up in here. Matter of fact, I think we had a super chat. I don't want to miss it. Okay. Yep, it was okay, here we go. Trade Waller for Adams. I'll let you take this one, man. Because I got some thoughts on it.
What is it straight up? Is it a straight up trade for Adams? You know what I'm saying?
So that's what I'm saying. I don't think you could.
It's not possible with the contracts?
Not really that. I would say I don't think Waller is worth enough to get Adams straight up.
Yeah, no. It's probably gonna be Waller plus some draft picks. You know what I mean? So what would it be? Waller and a second round, third rounder?
You feel me? So I just want to do it. If anything, if I were to do anything to get Adams, I would trade Waller somewhere else to get capital for him, and then I would use that capital to go get Adams. So if I traded Waller, I'd get like a first for him or something like that. Then I'd use that first to go get Adams. See what I'm saying? And then add like a third on that first.
Okay. That's hey man,
I would do because I feel like if
you just Ray need to be a GM out here, man. He be coming up with the trades. Though,
I told you to answer that question, man. I told you to answer that. Nah. Let me see if I have Let's see if I have any super chats to get to, and I'm gonna get to everybody. Okay. OG Fade in the building. He says with Waller's contract situation, Green Bay would do that. Okay, it's feasible. It's feasible, but I just wouldn't want to do that personally because one, you would have to go. You'd give up Waller, who's not really making much. He's getting $7 million a year right now, right? You would trade him. Then you would have to get Adams and sign him to a big contract, plus which would be around $25 a year.
I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it. I love Adams, but come on, man. We could get Allen Robinson. You know what I'm saying? We can get Shark. You know what I'm saying? DJ Shark or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have to give no draft picks. We got Waller plus number one type receiver. You know what I'm saying? I know, and I know who's pushing for that Adams trade. You know what I'm saying? I know who would push for it. It's Derek Carr. Derek Carr wants to make that happen. And I'm not gonna lie, like if it does happen, I think it's gonna be fireworks, bro. It's gonna be.
I'd be excited, bro. I'd be excited, bro. I'd be in your screens,
man. You got two players that want to play with each other, that got good chemistry since college. You know what I'm saying? So they know how to play with each other. They know how to think. You know what I mean? That doesn't come around too often. When you see that type of stuff, like. I don't know what you can compare it to, like that chemistry where, I guess you could say, who can you compare? Who has good chemistry, quarterback receiver chemistry? Like, I don't know what's a good comparison.
A good duo, you could say. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Mahomes, Hill,
Burrow and Chase.
Burrow and Chase
since college. You know what I'm saying? Like they know how to play with each other.
Since college, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Definitely. Be like Burrow and Chase. James Stewart says, exactly, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody's starting to say Burrow and Chase. Exactly. Yep. Look, the chat is on it, bro. The chat is on it. TC says they can tag him for the 5th-year option. Yeah, of course. He's not a free agent, and that's why we're talking about trading. That's what we're talking about trading for him. The previous comment was, would you trade Waller for Adams? My answer is no. I'd love to have Adams, but depending on how much he would cost, I just wouldn't want to pay that. I'd rather go get Robinson and be happy with that, and then go get a speedster out of the draft.
That's exactly And that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, hey, we can get one of these number one top receivers in the free agency. If it's Adams, cool. If it's one
Yep.
Allen Robinson or Shark, cool. And then in the draft, we can get like a speedster because
Yep.
I think Williams he's gonna drop because I heard that
Injury
he had an ACL. He's not gonna be ready
for
until
the
like during the season.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he's a talented receiver, so we might be able to get him like in the second or third round. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Personally, I don't think he's gonna drop that far. I think he's still going in the first round.
for real.
The number one reason I think he's still gonna go in the first round is because he's from Alabama, bro. That's the only reason. He's from Alabama. Like, just the fact he's an Alabama receiver. Yes, he's hurt, but I just think instead of him going top 20, now he's gonna go like bottom 10. You know what I mean? So I still think he's gonna go in the first round, in my opinion. But I do like the dude, Alabama, not Alabama, but what is it, Southern Alabama? I can't even think of his name right now. Why am I drawing?
Oh, you
Actually,
talking
I got
about Traylon Burks, Arkansas?
no. I know
Big
Traylon
body
Burks.
receiver.
He's my favorite receiver. Jalen Tolbert. I got my notes right here. I was doing some draft prospecting.
Oh, okay.
Jalen Tolbert, bro, 6'3", 190 pounds, man. He got speed, big playability. He's flashy. One thing I noticed, he's a willing blocker in the run game. So I like that a lot. And he could play inside and outside. So Jalen Tolbert, bro, look out for Jalen Tolbert. I think that's somebody we could definitely pick up. I like him a lot. I see people in the chat, Williams going 19 to 29. I kind of agree with that, bro. I don't know. I don't
That's
see him
just me.
going.
I'm just being a Raider fan, just being hopeful, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Because I'm like, hey, if we could focus on defense, the first two picks, you know what I mean, or first pick
yeah.
at least, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be a big help because we need a D tackle, bro. We need a D
Oh,
tackle bad, or a corner, depending on the defensive coordinator. We might be playing man to man on because McDaniels, he's coming from the Patriots, so he's used
yeah.
to.
They love man.
Because yeah, and then I heard some what's the dude, the defensive coordinator for Baltimore? I heard that he
Oh yeah,
might be
he had left. Yeah, he got a
and he's a
crazy name. I can't even think of his name, but his
Wink
name.
Martindale, like Wink
Yeah,
Martindale or something like that.
Wink or something.
Yeah, and he blitzes a lot, so like you need some corners that can cover. You know what I'm saying? So
Let me see if I can find it real quick though.
I heard that might be a possible. I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
his
too
name's
much
Wink.
about Pat Wink. Yeah, Wink
Yeah, Wink.
Martindale. I don't know if you know too much about Patrick Graham. I don't know if he's a good defensive coordinator. Might be a good option. You know what I'm saying? Because the way I look at it, I hope they get a defensive coordinator that it would be like an easy transition to what the talent that we have, like the best defensive coordinator that we can get. Because I want to stick to that 4-3. Because that 3-4, I feel like we're gonna have to get a lot of
It's too
players.
much for me.
It's too much, man.
Way too much to change to a 3-4 for me. Parneet Singh, man, he pulled up. Appreciate you being here. He says trade for a defensive tackle. And this is something I've been kind of saying for a while, is I'd rather trade for a proven defensive tackle that's already in the league. Like, you look last year, the Ravens went and got Calais Campbell for like a 5th round pick. He's a veteran. He still has something left in the tank. He's no slouch. I'd love to bring in a guy like that. He's a man of the year. He's won the man of the year award. Like, come on, that's high character right there.
You said Calais Campbell?
Yeah.
You think he's still got some juice? So like, how old is he?
No. I'm not saying to go get him. I'm saying like the Ravens traded for him last year
for
like a late round pick. And I think we could do something similar to where we can get a Grady Jarrett from the Falcons maybe. You know, they're going through some transitions. He's a little older, but I think he still has something left in the tank. Grady Jarrett. Just players like that. There's players like that around the league that you could just put in a deep tackle. I don't think we need a young Quinnen Williams. You know what I mean? I don't think we really need that. We have young players on D-line. We have Max Crosby. We have Yannick. Yannick is what, 25 now? Max Crosby is what, 23, I think. So we have young players on the D-line. I would like to get a veteran defensive tackle, someone that's proven, someone that has high character. You know, I don't like to use that a lot because in the past they've never been nice to the Raiders. But just have a veteran on the D-line, and we don't have a defensive tackle. We don't have a defensive tackle.
I think you know what? If it's not going to be a D tackle, I think it's going to be a corner. Then it's going to be a corner. I think with because we don't really got. I know Hayward he did a good job with us, but he's 32 years old. It's going to be a new coaching staff that's going to come in. Is he going to fit? You know what I mean? Is he because he's more of a system player. He's a zone corner. Is he a man corner? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. We don't really have a number one corner. It might be a good time to maybe draft one
Nope.
on a rookie deal because it's gonna be hard to get a corner like in free agency. They're gonna be top dollar, like so like the Raiders got to pick and choose what they want
No,
to do.
most definitely. And I think when it comes to that first round pick, man, at some point we just got to sit back and say, just pick the best player available for our needs, right? If you have a guy that's really high on your draft board and he's a corner, but then the guy that's defensive tackle, he's not really high, just take the corner type thing. Like if there's a receiver you have really high, you have him higher than the corner you have, just take the receiver. I think at that point we just need to take the best available player because I don't think corner is too much more of a need than D tackle is right now. I don't know how you feel about that, but for me, it's kind of almost the same. Because if you look at our roster, when I say we have no D tackles, I literally mean that. We have none. They're all free agents. Solomon Thomas, 1-year contract. Jonathan Hankins, Quinn Jefferson, Darius Fallon. He's even out. He's even out because he tore his he tear ACL. I don't remember what the injury was, but he was out. Who's our defensive tackle? Who else do we have that plays defensive tackle on the Raiders?
I get you on the best player available strategy,
Yeah.
but then that means that because the free agency comes before the draft. So then depending on how we attack free agency is gonna influence how we kind of draft and how we make picks in the draft. So if we make picks where we address the D tackle position, you know what I mean? It might not be the best player, but we at least be like a backup plan. We have a backup plan. We address the receiver position, we address the corner position. Then I agree with you. Best player available. I don't really care.
For sure. James 1 says, if GB doesn't tag Adams, would you get him? So again, it's just up to that salary cap thing too. Like, how much does Devontae Adams gonna want? Is it gonna be 25 plus? That's crazy, bro. That's gonna be half our salary cap. You gotta think about it. You want to give half of our salary cap to one guy when we're an extension year for Max Crosby. We're an extension year for Derek Carr. You can extend Hunter Renfrow as well. So I just wonder how the contracts would work and how we would be able to pay all these guys. That's all I'm kind of thinking. On top of bringing in a right tackle, I know a lot of people want to bring in a right tackle. That's going to cost some money. If you want to bring in a left guard, that's going to cost some money. And it's not like we're going to bring in guys that aren't good. We need competent offensive linemen. You know what I mean? Like guys that can pick up a simple stunt at least and put a body on somebody, not just let them run right past you. So those are concerns.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm getting him. If he's available, like he wants to come here, he wants to play with Derek. Derek wants to play with him.
Yeah.
We haven't had a number one receiver, and I don't think we ever had a number one receiver. I know people like to bring up, oh, we had Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree. Those were two number two receivers. And Dallas Cowboy fans, they're realizing that Amari Cooper is a number two receiver, or not even the fans, the owner, because he over here talking about Amari Cooper. He's disappointed in Amari Cooper, and he disappears for stretches. Us Raider fans, we know how that feels. Like we watch a lot of games where we like, man, what's up with Amari Cooper? How come he ain't getting open or he ain't doing anything? You know what I'm saying? So Derek Carr has never really had a number one receiver. And shit, if we can get Adams, man, I on paper, I get what you said. It makes sense, but I feel like the human element of it, like this is like a guarantee. I feel like it's the biggest guarantee out there is getting Adams and putting him with Carr. It's gonna be a crazy combination.
Yeah, most definitely, man. EC Everett says Damian Square is the only DT on a contract. Damian Square is actually with the Bengals, man. He's with the Bengals. Yeah, he's with the Bengals, man. He got signed to the Bengals. Yeah, I think the only person we have our practice squad like Kendall Vickers. I think Kendall Vickers is only defensive tackle. Like those, that's what I'm saying. We don't have defensive tackles. Gerald McCoy, 1-year contract. He's a free agent. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we definitely need defensive tackle, man. But I think I'm gonna end the live there, man. We got over 400 people. I appreciate everybody that pulled up, everybody that contributed in the chat. Me and Farrell was going back and forth. Sorry if I didn't get to your comment. I hope to see you guys next time for the next live. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe button as well if you like this live. If you want to see more videos just like this, Farrell, you can go ahead and drop your Twitter, bomb, Instagram, whatever you got. If you want people to go ahead and reach out to you and follow you, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm growing. I'm trying to start this YouTube thing as well. Right now, I'm just trying to build on my Twitter.
Yep.
It's Pharaoh from the East, and then follow me over there, and you might see me on here as well, just dropping some random facts about the Raiders.
Yo, the man said Farrell, aka Cam Jordan. That's
Hey man,
wild, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's wild. Wow.
that's funny. That's
That's
funny.
wild. You kind of damn, that's a good one. Shout out to James, bro. That's a good one. I'm sorry, that's a good one. But yo, appreciate everybody that pulled up. You heard what the man Farrell said. Follow him on Twitter. He's gonna get his thing rolling. He's trying to get his thing growing. So make sure to follow him on Twitter at Farrell from the East. You already know what it is. Always welcome, Farrell, man. Make sure to hit me up. I don't know if I follow you on Twitter or if you follow me, but I'll make sure to do it, man.
I actually just followed you. I found you on Twitter or whatever, so I
For
just
sure,
followed you on
man.
there too. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
For
sir.
sure, man. I'm gonna make sure to DM me or I'll DM you, and then you could definitely pull up, bro, and we can get something working, bro. So I appreciate you coming on here, taking your time to talk this Writer Talk.
All
But
good,
until
man.
next time,
Anytime.
y'all. Appreciate everybody pulling up, ready to take.